Okay, before I get into the amazing Indian Muslim Nazi puncher, we're going to first give some context. It's Britain. World War II is happening. Bombs everywhere. The Allies, they need a fuckload of intelligence for the eventual invasion of Normandy, but they don't know yet that it's Normandy. Intelligence obviously comes from spies, and in 1940, we all know that spies are men. But wait, men in Nazi-occupied France, they draw a lot of attention to themselves because all the men are either on the battlefield or they're in prison. So who do we use instead? Ladies! Woo! All right, next slide. Once I get to the thing. All right. Lady Spying 101. We're going to go through this quickly because I only got 4 minutes. And I need to convince you that all this shit matters. If you want to be a lady spy, you got to be smart. You got to be in favor of punching Nazis. You got to blend in. This is going to be relevant later because blending in usually means that you are white. You have to be a Gretchen Wiener's level secret keeper. You have to be athletic and strong, but still super feminine because the patriarchy fucking sucks. You also have to speak French and know French geography because most of these spies are going into Nazi-occupied France and they don't have the internet because it's 1940. God damn it. There we go. So, if you are so fortunate as to be recruited as a lady spy in World War II era Britain, first things first, you go to Bumblefuck, Scotland. It's actually a town called Arisag, but Bumblefuck sounds a lot better. You learn in the dark of night how to kill people in a few different ways with your bare hands. You learn how to operate a clandestine radio, and you learn how to parachute out of airplanes into Nazi-occupied territory. Bears repeating, not normally things women are taught in 1940s era Europe. You then go to a spy finishing school at a fancy English estate, and you learn how to blend in so that you're not walking around France being like, hey, I'm a spy. I'm looking for Nazis. Where are the Nazis? That's a dead giveaway. All right. Now, if you are recruited as a lady spy in Nazi-occupied France, you get parachuted by moonlight into Nazi-occupied France. This is not, you might die doing that. If you survive and you get there, you link up with your circuit. They all have really fun code names like Cinema and Prosper. If you're a lady, you're assigned as either a coder, so you're taking a clandestine radio into France and you're most courting shit from the French Resistance to Winston Churchill, or you're a courier and you're delivering shit between the coders and the French Resistance. Now the sad panda part, the survival rate for this work was 30%. That means if you had 10 lady spies going into France, 3 came back alive. They were not fucking around. All right, so now we're getting to the hero I mentioned at the beginning of my story. Her name is Noor Inayat Khan. Who knows who she is? All right, 3 people. That's a shame. That is a fucking travesty. Noor Inayat Khan. She is the daughter of an American yoga enthusiast and an Indian Sufi Muslim teacher. There's a whole backstory there. I only got 3 minutes. In her late 20s, she's a musician and a budding poet. She literally has a book of poems on Amazon that you can buy. She is super passionate about India's independence because she's dealt with a lot of racism growing up, and her father is from India. And because of reasons, by which I mean because of racism, she spent most of her childhood in Russia and in France. So, how does Noor Inayat Khan become a spy in Nazi-occupied France? She is actually the first female agent trained as a wireless operator. She is not white. She does not blend in. She is not many things that they would normally assume about a woman who would be a spy in Nazi-occupied France. But she is super smart. She really fucking hates Nazis. And she's like, hey, I'm going to do my just due for you, Britain, and then I'm going to go fight for India's independence. And Britain was like, that's great. You're really good at punching Nazis. We don't know why, because before this, you played a harp and you wrote poetry, but somehow you're super good at this, so we're going to let you do it. So she gets parachuted into Nazi-occupied territory. What happens then? A week after she gets there, her entire network in France is compromised by an asshole traitor Still don't know who it is, but he fucking sucks. Or she, we don't know who. The average survival rate for a male wireless operator in Nazi-occupied France was 6 weeks. Noor Khan, she lasts for 4 fucking months. She is a brown woman in Nazi-occupied France. She used fucking crazy wigs. She used disguises. She was also banging a super hot French agent. The girlfriend of said French agent was the one who ultimately betrayed her to the Nazis. I know, that sucks. So what does she do? She says, oh, I'm so modest, Nazis. You can't interrogate me until I take a bath and you can't look. Nazis leave the room, she fucking escapes. Then the Nazis are like, wait, where'd she go? Bring her back. And then they leave her alone again because she's like, I have to get changed. I'm such a modest Muslim woman, you can't watch me change. And they're like, sure, that still seems fine, even though we fell for that like 10 minutes ago. She sneaks out, she gets 2 male agents with her, sneaks out onto the roof. There's an air raid, really inconveniently timed, so all the Nazis go onto the roof and they see her, and they're like, fuck. So, yes, she is ultimately captured and executed by the Nazis. I chose this photo because fuck Nazis. She looks super smoking hot in a fur coat on a field. This is the trigger warning part. She is tortured and she is raped for 10 months. She refuses to give up anything. At that point, she's already spent 4 months ferrying information from the French resistance to Winston fucking Churchill. And she had a huge role to play in the fact that Normandy was picked as the invasion site. She was eventually executed at Dachau concentration camp, but not before shouting "Liberté," which is French for "fuck you," at the Nazis. When they shot her, prisoners who survived Dachau later said that they credited her with giving them the will to survive until the camp was liberated a couple months later. So why does she matter? She defied racism, imperialism, sexism, and motherfucking Nazis, and she went down fighting. She is way more of a hero than most of the white dudes we read about who did shit during World War II. And seriously, where the fuck is her Oscar bait biopic? There are a lot of other women who died this way during fighting for the Special Operations Executive. They defied virtually all expectations of their gender and class. They are quite literally responsible for the liberation of Europe from fascism. Their creativity and their passion paved the way for how we train current spies today. We never fucking talk about them, and look what they fucking did. That is why I'm here in this bar shouting, you all should know who these women are. The next slide is a bunch of resources. God damn it. There we go. Google this shit, learn about these women. They are the reason we are here today and the reason we can be part of our resistance today. Thank you.